lightning fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Just last month was Mental Health Awareness Month, so we're continuing the conversation.
This person just turned me into their toy and every evening, and it was, yeah, when I approached my mother about it, she slapped me.
What mental health needs is more sunlight, more candor, and more unashamed conversations, and that is what Unscripted is about.
You know, when people say, oh, he committed suicide, yeah, that person who drives those big cars committed suicide. Mental health has got nothing to do with your economic status.
NTV hits the road.
Watu wa NTV inamkaribisha hapa Tharaka Nithi County Headquarters.
And like time and time again, it will be worth your watch.
Kaunti yetu iko na vitu mingi mzuri.
And when they get down to business,
tunajengewa soko mzuri ya ghorofa 3.
Infrastructure development.
Naweza nikashukuru kwa hii barabara.
Healthcare transformation. Breathtaking tourist attractions.
Kuna mti mrefu East Africa hii kuliko hii. Kwa kimombo inaitwa Kenyensis. Kimeru watu wote wanajua inaitwa mtunguru.
Set your watch, make a date with us as we explore county number 13, the county of Tharaka Nithi.
The county government of Kajiado, with the approval of His Excellency Joseph Olelenku, would like to notify all landowners in Kajiado County to take advantage of the ongoing 100% waiver on outstanding land rates penalties, which will end on 15th September 2020. The county government will institute the necessary measures to recover all unpaid rates and penalties. Payments should be made through the respective sub-county offices or through a banker's check or direct transfers.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix, fancy's just for me. It really feels very comfy. I don't have to stop playing. Molfix pants fits me perfectly.
An invention from Molfix just for your baby. Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
FIDA Kenya is celebrating 35 years of promoting the rights of women and girls' rights in Kenya. Over the years, with the backing of strategic development partners and visionary leadership, we remain the premier women's rights organization in the country. As we navigate the season of COVID-19, we remain dedicated to dispensing vital legal and psychological support to our clients. You can now reach us on our toll-free number 0800 720 501. We are only a call away. FIDA Kenya, promoting the rights of women and girls in Kenya.
Welcome to Garden of Joy in Machakos by Optiven. This is a gated community that is strategically located only 7 minutes drive from Koma town and 1.3 kilometers off the tarmac. It comes with a beautiful gate, chain link fence around the property, internal Maram roads, a borehole for steady water supply, a jogging track, a meditation park, and a children's play area. The title deeds are ready. Get your value-added plot at only 1.295 million shillings cash price. We also have flexible payment options of up to 12 months. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optiven.co.ke.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
This is NTV.
Hello there, it is 9 o'clock on this Thursday night and you are tuned in to NTV. Thanks very much for making time for us. These are some of the top stories in this broadcast.
Tonight, the big fish are still circling Jonah. And the drowning KEMSA CEO is now clutching at straws.
The communications that came from the PS office and from the CS were not in any way to put pressure on me.
Also tonight, the potholes on Revenue Avenue.
Kufika tarehe 17 kama tujapata pesa tutafunga kaunti zote.
Anyone saying that this stalemate is the one causing workers not to be paid is not true.
What the cash crunch in the county means if Senate still drags its feet on the revenue formula. Plus,
it is thus foolhardy for Obado to attempt to cajole and twist facts and seek sympathy by trying to turn this into a case of alleged political witch hunt.
More fingers pointed at Migori governor as impeachment plot thickens. And also tonight, the faithful servants.
Kama ingekuwa jamaa mwingine mimi singekuja. Lakini sasa chairman akisema wewe ni nani useme ingine? Si unaenda mara moja?
It's politics as usual as cabinet secretaries get back on the road in the name of inspection tours.
NTV Tonight with Smriti Vidyarthi.
Great to have you with us. Flora Atieno is our sign language interpreter tonight. And we start with the sharing of revenue dilemma. The Council of Governors is now threatening to shut down business in all 47 counties if the impasse over the revenue allocation formula persists in the Senate. The Senate's leadership, however, says it is not responsible for the cash crunch that has paralyzed county functions. Leila Mohammed begins our broadcast with the details and making of the looming shutdown.
With the new financial year 2 months away into the end of its first quarter, county governments are staring at a shutdown due to what they believe is a cash crunch born of the current impasse of the best way of equitably sharing revenue.
Kufika tarehe 17 kama tujapata pesa tutafunga kaunti zote. Alafu wafanyakazi waende nyumbani kwa likizo mpaka wakati tutapata hizo pesa.
If the county allocation of revenue bill submitted to Parliament for a financial year has not been approved by Parliament or is not likely to be approved by Parliament by the beginning of the financial year, the control of budget may authorize withdrawals of up to 50% from the consolidated fund.
The Council of Governors believes the Senate has dragged its feet on the matter, having voted on it at least 8 times.
We hereby forewarn the Senate that a petition for its dissolution can be initiated by any member of the public through a High Court as provided for under Article 258 of the Constitution.
In the latest report, COG says 32 counties have fully achieved the 300-bed capacity at isolation centres, with the remaining 15 working on how best to achieve this MOH requirement. But the strain of working with little resources at a high-pressure moment is evident. But Senate Chief Whip and Muranga Senator believes such threats by county chiefs hold no water.
Anyone saying that this stalemate is the one causing workers not to be paid is not true. We do have a legal mechanism allowing for that.
With the 12-member committee still working on how best to blend diverse concerns over the formula in order to reach an amicable middle ground, the Senate leadership is calling for patience.
And I have no doubt that they are very competent. They are going to render a very good decision, and therefore we should give them time. I guess this is a very complex matter that has major implication on this country going forward.
The committee is expected to table its report, which has 2 opinions in the Senate on Tuesday when it resumes sitting. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Suspended KEMSA CEO Jonah Manjari may now be drifting alone at sea after he made a dramatic U-turn on earlier assertions that he had been under pressure from Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe and other Ministry of Health officials to facilitate procurement of personal protective equipment at inflated costs. He told Parliament's Health Committee today that his remarks were misinterpreted. KEMSA also absolved itself from blame in the procurements that saw the agency exceed its budget by 3 billion shillings. Zainab Ismail is still on that story.
As a CEO, I did not work under any pressure whatsoever. As I said, I did this with my eyes open.
A 360-degree turn from just a week ago when he appeared before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating the matter, corroborating the testimony by Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, distancing himself from the allegations that he arm-twisted the suspended CEO to influence procurement procedures.
My job is, has never been, and will never be, to ask anybody to break the law, any saga, any organization that we are in.
We did this procurement during very hard times, and it is for the passion I have for this health industry and for the healthcare workers, the frontline healthcare workers.
It, however, got hotter for Manjari, who had to explain why he went ahead to procure items surpassing the allocated budget and even further went ahead to bypass the Ministry of Health in seeking additional funding from the Treasury.
Did your board approve the over-expenditure?
I want to state that the board did not approve of that over-expenditure, and that has been confirmed.
We did not have a budget for COVID-related items, but several bodies have pronounced themselves that they have the budget. So we never accessed that budget, and that's the reason we are seeking for budgetary allocation.
You know, he appears harmless, but he can be the green snake in the green grass. You did your own things, cooked your own figures, concluded on your own awards.
I'm not a green snake in the grass. I am an honest, passionate medical profession of high integrity and practice.
At one point, suspended procurement director at KEMSA Charles Juma even accusing Manjari of signing 9 commitment letters without his knowledge.
All the commitment letters which were issued to the suppliers were signed by the chief executive officer.
My statement is that what Juma is trying to do is throw the CEO under the bus.
Healthcare Kenya Limited.
The Chamber of Commerce and the 3 companies accused of involvement in the irregular procurement also appeared before the Sabina Shege-led Health Committee.
If you have every county covered.
The committee is expected to table its final report on the floor of the House next week. Zainab Ismail, NTV.
Now, Monday's directive by President Uhuru Kenyatta to the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA, to avail all tender information online within a month appeared as a critical step towards greater transparency and accountability. But as Victor Kiprop reports, the order is unlikely to yield much, as a similar directive issued in 2018 requiring all public entities to publish full details of tenders online has been largely defied, with the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority reporting compliance levels of only 20%.
The Ministry of Health, within the next 30 days, must come up with a transparent, open method and mechanism through which all tenders and procurement done by KEMSA.
At the height of mounting and widespread public outrage over the alleged misappropriation of funds meant for the purchase of personal protective equipment PPEs, this directive appeared like the much sought-after silver bullet for transparency and accountability in public procurement. However, there is a small problem. All public entities are already required to maintain and continuously update complete information of all tenders awarded on the Public Procurement Information Portal PPIP every month, but
Compliance levels have been extremely poor. As the heads of PPRA, we do not have authority to go and pick up a PS and fire him for non-compliance.
Born out of an executive order issued in June 2018, only 2,503 contracts worth 64.4 billion shillings were published on the portal in the last financial year, a performance attributed to laxity in enforcement.
If you start dealing with consequence management, then you are onto a good thing. Because you can have all the fanciest rules in the world, but if there are no consequences for ignoring them, you are in trouble.
And the alleged KEMSA PPEs scandal, a loophole in the executive order exempting procurement arising from the declaration of a national emergency, appears to have been exploited as tenders worth up to 7.7 billion shillings, 3 billion shillings above the agency's approved budget, were hurriedly awarded to questionable companies.
The fact that there's an emergency, no matter what that emergency is, does not mean you begin spending it as if it's your pocket money. It's not your pocket money. But when we hear, especially watching parliamentary proceedings, that suppliers were being single-sourced off the back of phone conversations, if those facts come out to be true, that in itself is mischief in procurement and prosecutable.
No suspect has so far been arrested in the PPEs scandal, even as different investigative agencies probe the matter. Government officials at the center continue treading blames, and as usual, Kenyans continue suffering. Victor Kiprop, NTV.
Well, as Parliament probes the misuse of COVID-19 funds and donations, the Office of the Controller of Budget revealed that county governments were having a hard time absorbing billions allocated to them for the COVID-19 response. The Controller of Budget said counties only utilised a quarter of the more than 13 billion shillings allocated to the pandemic, as Alex Mwangi reports.
The report from the Office of the Controller of Budget, covering the period between 13th March to 31st July, was prepared following a request from the Senate's Ad Hoc Committee on COVID-19 on how counties have spent funds to fight the pandemic. In that period, county governments reported spending a cumulative 3.43 billion shillings from the 13.1 billion shillings that was available for COVID-19 intervention programs. This 26.2% absorption rate represents the critical challenge that counties are facing in turning the funds available into tangible weapons to fight COVID-19. Nakuru, Wajir, and Kiambu counties reported the highest expenditure. 7 counties did not, however, spend any money despite receiving hundreds of millions of shillings to fight the pandemic. Nairobi County, for instance, which has been grappling with a crippling health workers' strike, had budgeted for 164 million shillings on COVID-19 interventions from its own sources, and further received 394 million shillings from the national government and 17 million shillings from Danida. These funds were, however, not transferred to the special purpose account and remained unused. Mombasa County had not provided a report on how it utilized its funds by the time of finalizing the report. The Controller of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, notes that some of the counties had not prepared budgets for the utilization of the COVID-19 grants from the national government. As a result, they could not withdraw those funds which have remained unutilized as of 31st July 2020. She accuses the national government of being slow in reacting to the pandemic, saying that although some counties allocated funds within their budgets to fight the pandemic, they were unable to utilize them due to lack of support and guidelines from the national government through the Ministry of Health. The Controller of Budget also notes that the expenditure by counties so far on COVID-19 intervention is yet to be audited, and recommends that county internal audit committees and the National Treasury conduct internal audits to provide an assurance of value for money to taxpayers. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
Right, elsewhere now, the Orange Democratic Movement Party, ODM, says it will go forth with its push to impeach Migori Governor Okoth Obado. ODM Chairman John Mbadi has accused Obado of raining terror on Migori residents and MCAs who've signed up to remove him from office. Obado has received support from a section of residents who accuse his party of a political witch hunt. Eunice Omolo with the latest details of the thickening impeachment plot in Migori County.
In what is snowballing into a heated political contest, ODM is fighting back against Migori Governor Okoth Obado and his supporters who have accused the party of a political witch hunt. ODM, at a meeting with MCAs in Nairobi, resolved to push Obado out of office over the graft charges facing him and his children. The party says it stands by that resolution on account that the governor's integrity has been tainted and public confidence in him had been eroded.
It is very rare to see how many people can be confronted with the same. It is only Obado, I think, who can be accused of stealing and sharing with his children openly. It's only him who can be accused of murdering his girlfriend.
A section of Migori residents would, however, have none of the accusations, accusing the party of doublespeak, as he's not the only governor from the party facing graft charges. Yet, he's the only one being hounded out of the office.
He's the first governor to be denied access to the functions of his office. Yule governor wa Busia kwa mfano alipopelekwa mahakamani, hakufungiwa nje ya ofisi. Kwa hivyo kuna tofauti.
The people of Migori and all Kenyans of goodwill must treat with contempt the fallacious attempts by the government to imbue the allegations against him with political innuendos and conjunctures. He must be starved, and I want to emphasize this, he must be starved of the sympathy he fervently seeks, because he's simply seeking sympathy by diverting attention from theft to politics.
The party now claims the governor is behind a campaign of terror against residents and leaders who opposed him, and asked the government to provide security to at least 27 Migori MCAs who he says have already signed the petition to remove him from office.
The threat of violence is the only weapon that Honorable, the governor has. The threat of violence and money.
Mbadi says the party will also furnish government with the names of Migori CECs, directors of various departments, contractors, chief officers, MCAs, officials and suppliers, who he claims have been diverting public funds to bribe MCAs ahead of next Monday's impeachment motion, and possibly sponsor violence if the motion does not go the governor's way. Obado, a longtime ally of Deputy President William Ruto, has openly dared his party to kick him out. Eunice Omolo, NTV, Nairobi.
All right, from that, it's time for our first break on NTV Tonight. And we leave you with an incredible moment of calm. This is a compilation of footage of Utah's Bryce Canyon National Park, the Horseshoe Bend, a meander of the Colorado River in Arizona, and Zion National Park in Utah, this month in the United States. Take a moment to take it all in.
Oya ni aje, mimi ndo Jonte Fresh. Mimi ndio nimetambulika hii gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumio transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest igikos yote. Siri ni hii real mpya ya pink. Na kushow mtush zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia aerial touch of down mpya tu.
Katika miezi michache iliyopita, nchi yetu imesimama pamoja kuweka nambari za COVID chini. Kila siku nambari mpya hutueleza hadithi ile ile kwamba sisi hatukubali mambo tusoweza kufanya ije kati ya mambo tunaoweza. Tuendelee kusonga mbele.
Welcome to Garden of Joy in Machakos by Optiven. This is a gated community that is strategically located only 7 minutes drive from Coma Town and 1.3 kilometers off the tarmac. It comes with a beautiful gate, chain link fence around the property, internal Murram roads, a borehole for steady water supply, a jogging track, a meditation park, and a children's play area. The title deeds are ready. Get your value-added plot at only 1.295 million shillings cash price. We also have flexible payment options of up to 12 months. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optiven.co.ke.
Mbona hii mabati kina dad na mom bado inakaa mpya? Na hii nimekuwa hapa for so many years. Na pia umelelewa hapa.
Wow, imagine hata nilikuwa sija notice.
Rufus, wewe ni fundi wangu wa miaka mingi sana. Haya mabati yatadumu kweli?
Huyu kijana nilimwambia anunue mabati ya Dumuzas.
Usibahatishe mabati. Hakikisha umeangalia alama za kudhibitisha Dumuzas halisi. Chagua Dumuzas, mabati inayodumu kudumu. Isitoshe, Dumuzas ndio mabati pekee inayokuja na warranty.
Sitaki tena kubahatisha.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. Panadol Extra, now with new Optizorb technology, to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Maze Harmonize alienda kujaribu hizi magames za wazungu kwa uwanja TZ in front of thousands of people at ziplining. Alishuka kama bei ya maembe. Tangu anze mziki hajawahi hit hivyo. Huko Tanzania sasa inasikia kwa ground ni Harmonize tu.
They pull people, it doesn't matter their rank and designation. I mean, I've seen even senior people in the position I was holding being pulled away. So I mean,
so you went there knowing that would happen?
No. Actually, I was just actually leaving. That day I was actually leaving.
And
I was seated.
Faster.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a good thing.
Welcome back. Now, after what they described as a much-needed break, Cabinet Secretaries are back on the road for countrywide inspection tours in the President's name. But they don't seem to give politics a break, despite the President's own pleas. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i led his colleagues to a meeting in Kajiado laced with political undertones, and that was seen as a move to counter Deputy President William Ruto's inroads in the county. Gina Kirori has more.
Fresh from a 2-week recess, Cabinet Secretaries are back on the road, re-energized in the fresh round of inspection tours. For 3 of the powerhouses in government, the road led to Kajiado for a meeting with provincial administrators, but that had a thin veil over the true intention.
Kama ingekuwa jamaa mwingine mimi singekuja. Lakini sasa chairman akisema wewe ni nani useme ingine?
Matiang'i, the president did not make a mistake in appointing you to be the chair of this sub-cabinet committee of the full cabinet.
Just last week, he received a delegation of leaders from the county to pave the way for an impending visit to the area later this month. The presence of the cabinet secretaries here, thus interpreted as just another way to counter the perceived wave of support.
Tumetumwa na rais kuja kumwakilisha. All these premature campaigns, receiving of delegations, that effort should be the energy and the resources that are being expended for this purpose should be meaningfully utilized.
Sisi si wanasiasa. Hizi ni watu wa serikali, zimepewa kazi na mheshimiwa rais kufanya na tutaifanya. Najua tunakula ile kiapo inasema tutafanya kazi bila shauku, uoga wala mapendeleo.
The president has often cautioned cabinet secretaries against meddling in politics and premature 2022 political banter. The constitution also robbed ministerial politics of its sheen. But some of the cabinet secretaries whose type of game before was a boardroom flair are now learning to swim from the deep end of the pool.
Senators to do their constitutional duty to ensure that a fair and equitable formula is arrived at, so that funds are released to the counties.
Seen projects being delayed because contractors have gotten the luxury of thinking they will get time extended. I think that time is over.
And despite the president's pleas, it's politics of usual, often in his name. Gina Kirori, NTV.
Right, away from that to Kisumu, where residents there woke up today to a bizarre scene of a mysterious coffin with the remains of a man dumped outside Lumumba Sub-County Hospital. Residents pitched tent at the scene for close to 6 hours before some people, claiming to be the dead man's relatives, arrived to take it away. Oko Okusa with the details of the drama.
According to some of the residents, the casket was dumped here at around 8 in the morning.
When we saw the pickup, there was a body, a coffin inside. And we were not quite clear knowing what was inside. And after some minutes, we saw 3 guys who came and they offload the body. And then they disappeared.
As minutes turned into hours, the crowd of curious onlookers swelled. Some residents who were overwhelmed by curiosity decided to open the coffin to ascertain if indeed there was a dead body inside.
Ni mwanaume amevalishwa suti ya black na shati ya white na ni mtu mzima.
It is at this moment when a man claiming to be a relative of the deceased emerged.
This body was removed from Kisumu County Hospital, and the vehicle which was ferrying the body got some mechanical problem. So the driver decided to take the vehicle to the garage. Until now, I think the vehicle is on the way, but the body is being removed and taken home. Thank you.
But his explanation did not persuade the angry crowd.
Kuanzia saa 2 hadi saa hizi inaelekea saa 8 ndio wanakuja wanatuambia mara gari ilikuwa na shida, mara gari ilikuwa na nini, mara maiti ilitoka county hospital. Alijuaje? Eti maiti inatoka county na kuna mwenye aliachiwa. Na kama walitoa county referral hospital, ni nani? Yani walikuwa wangapi kwa gari? Anakuja hapa anatuambia eti gari ilikuwa na shida. Kwani gari ilikuwa na dereva peke yake ama wenye maiti walikuwa ndani?
Police were later called in as irate residents threatened to lynch the dead man's relatives, accusing them of practicing witchcraft.
Waache uongo, waache kuroga Kisumu. Hiyo ni uganga, tumekataa.
Oko Kusa, NTV.
Dead creepy indeed. All right, to the COVID-19 numbers now, and 212 more people have tested positive for the coronavirus out of a sample size of 3,937 tested in the last 24 hours. The country's cumulative caseload now stands at 34,705. 14 of the new cases are foreigners and the rest are Kenyan. The youngest is a 1-month-old and the oldest is 76. 195 patients have recovered, bringing the total number of recoveries to 20,644. Meanwhile, 4 more people have succumbed to the disease, bringing the total number of fatalities to 585. As you can see there, Nairobi County registered the day's high of 96 new infections, followed by Mombasa with 21 new infections. Now, the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority made several blunders that led to the COVID millionaires scandal. From getting ahead of itself and issuing commitment letters which it had no money to honour, to attempting to get funding from Treasury without clearance of the Ministry of Health. In your copy of the Daily Nation tomorrow, read the blow-by-blow account of the shenanigans at the Medical Supplies Agency. Plus, Ruto, an insider in the opposition or an outsider in government. Of late, Deputy President William Ruto seems to have accepted his political fate, and so have his close allies. Find out why the Deputy President does not appear to mind being branded an outsider. Don't miss your copy. All right, we're heading into a break now, but stay on because the world is one step closer to making flying cars, according to a Japanese firm. A drone-like prototype was tested, and here a manned compact vehicle, as you can see, using 8 propellers to hover into the air for about 4 minutes, made its way with a few wobbles around a test field. The firm wants the vehicle to be available to buy in Japan by 2023, and it could cost over $300,000. Well, we all may just be left to sit in traffic instead. Stay with us. Business News is up next.
Really good.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
So vile nasema, wacha nikubatie statistics. Niko na gamia 1,500. Tunakuwa drapo gamia na kuwa 6,000. 2,000 natengeneza leather, natengeneza viatu, wallet, kibeti, nauza hapa, na batia wewe 50%. Wacha niweke credit nikupigie.
Namna gani wewe? Hii mambo ya kuishiwa na credit kila saa? Come on. Nunua hiyo simu ya Vodafone. Calling fiber to fiber is 0 shillings per minute. And it is not expensive. Only 2,999 Kenya shillings.
Alo hali wa. Hata fadhali hiyo credit ikae ninunue simu basi.
Faibika leo na Vodafone for only 2,999 Kenya shillings. It will always be free to call fiber to fiber.
Parenting is all about learning when to be tough and when to be gentle. Tough, gentle. But when it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Tough call. Panadol Baby and Infant. Tough on fever, gentle on your child.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Let's now transact some business. The ravaging effects of the desert locust invasion are being compounded with livestock now lacking pasture in many parts of the country. The Agriculture Ministry now says that Kenya and the wider East Africa region is staring at deteriorated food insecurity due to the effects of the desert locusts. Desert locusts are the world's most destructive migratory pest, with a single swarm capable of traveling up to 90 miles a day and devouring large quantities of food.
As at September 1st, just the other day, more than 10 million people in East Africa region are facing acute food insecurity due to the recent locust plagues that ravaged massive fields of food crops. And it is not only crops. Even the cows lacked pasture. Even the bees, there are those like in Kitui where we get a lot of honey.
One locust swarm of 1 square kilometer can eat the same amount of food in one day as 35,000 people. So it's really massive and show to us what is the threat we have under those circumstances.
And on to some good news. Export sales grew to touch a record high in August 2020 following the relaxation of restriction of movement measures by the government. This is according to the August 2020 Stanbic Bank's Purchasing Managers Index, which shows that business environment is on a gradual improvement following the relaxation of restriction of movement measures which were adopted in view of COVID-19. The latest index from Stanbic Bank shows that businesses reported a sharp rise in new orders in August, with the overall index standing at 53 compared to 54.2 in July. This comes just days after the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics revealed that unemployment rate doubled in the 3 months between March and June 2020, owing to the adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. And for many years, the agriculture sector has been dominated by the aged, putting at risk the country's food security. To reverse the trend, some parents have taken it upon themselves to impart agricultural skills to their young ones. Our reporter Gabriel Kudaka visited one such parent in Namnyumuri village in Bungoma County and brings you the story.
In Namunyiri village on the border of Uasin Gishu and Bungoma counties, a group of children from the neighborhood converge at Agri Baraza's home for agriculture lessons. But unlike the typical school setup, this farm here forms a crucial component of their work.
CBC irudishwe, na wakati wetu tukiwa wadogo kulikuwa na ile mambo ya Young Farmers Club ambapo vitu mingi ingefanyika, na kwa sasa tunaelekea hiyo ikirudishwa kutakuwa na faida kubwa kwa watoto wetu hapa kwa village. Sababu mtu sasa class kama 8 hajui mboga inapandwa waje, hajui kupalilia, hajui kuku intega mayai, anajua mayai ndio kwa duka.
Their teacher takes them through various aspects of farming, ranging from poultry, rabbit rearing, dairy to vegetable farming.
Nimejifunza kulisha ng'ombe, kulisha makuku, kupanda mboga, cabbage. Sikuwa najua kupanda lakini nilifunzwa nikajua kupanda.
The learners pay keen attention, expecting some practical assignments after the lesson.
Wakiamka asubuhi wafanye hiyo assignment, wakishamaliza nataka matokeo saa 8 niangalie vile wamefanya na kile wamefanya, then from there pia nipe challenge zao ni gani.
Nilikuwa nimeambiwa nifundishe kuupa sungura chakula, kufagia nyumba yake.
Even though the rollout of the community learning program by the government had been challenged in court, this parent, who is also a judiciary officer in Eldoret, has taken it upon himself to ensure these young ones from different schools acquire necessary skills in agriculture at a tender age in order to enhance their liking for the sector.
Maliza form 4 last year. Kama si corona ningekuwa na join university.
Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
Let's talk about the financial services industry. Stakeholders in Kenya's private sector have been challenged to develop products which will enable the pensions industry to widen its reach to those employed in the informal sector. With only 22% of Kenya's labor force enrolled in a pension scheme, majority are left vulnerable to deteriorating living standards upon retirement. Attempts to reform Kenya's pensions industry through increased remittances have been derailed by court injunctions which have halted the implementation of parts of the NSSF Act of 2013. As at the close of 2019, Kenya's pensions industry had 1.3 trillion shillings worth of assets under management.
Out of our $85 billion
GDP in this country, only 12 billion is in the pension sector. That is 13%. 13% is not too bad, but it can be 30%, it can be 35% if we can all save.
And that takes us to the close of business. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Death is inevitable, but that does not mean it's the end for your family. Protect them financially by getting the DTB Last Expense Cover. No need to break the bank when paying for the last expense cover. Enjoy premiums as low as 600 shillings per year. We know death can occur at any time, and that is why we will process all the claims within 48 hours. With the DTB Last Expense, you can cover up to 5 nuclear family members, including parents and parents-in-law.
Guy, unajua ukikula supa moja utakuwa na superpowers?
Let me try.
Jiamini.
Wow.
Indomie, now available in chicken, beef, and Supermojo. Supermojo, Jiamini.
That was not my fault. No.
The county government of Kajiado, with the approval of His Excellency Joseph Olelenku, would like to notify all landowners in Kajiado County to take advantage of the ongoing 100% waiver on outstanding land rates penalties, which will end on 15 September 2020. The county government will institute the necessary measures to recover all unpaid rates and penalties. Payments should be made through the respective sub-county offices or through a banker's check or direct transfers.
The risk of illness causing germs is increasing. It is believed that the coronavirus can remain on surfaces in your home for up to 9 days. Touching infected surfaces is one of the ways in which germs spread. Regularly disinfect your floors, countertops, and kitchen surfaces with bleach, and use an effective toilet cleaner inside and outside your toilet bowl. This message is brought to you by Medifact, JIG, and Harpic.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Some international news now, and workers tasked with coordinating the Mauritius cleanup operation cleared contaminated seaweed from the coastline even as a search for the missing crew continues. 2 members of a crew assisting in the cleanup of the major oil spill in the Mauritius Sea are still missing after a tugboat collided with a barge. An estimated 75,000 people marched at the weekend in the capital, Port Louis, demanding answers from the government in the biggest public demonstration in 40 years. Japanese bulk carrier MV Wakashio crashed into a reef off southeastern Mauritius last month, spewing more than 1,000 tons of oil into the waters that are home to mangrove forests and endangered species. The washing ashore of about 47 dead melon-headed whales in recent days has spurred further outrage, with environmental groups blaming the oil spill for their mysterious deaths. Well, it is not just Kenya that is struggling with COVID-19 related corruption allegations. The South African Auditor General has released a report on corruption relating to COVID-19 relief funds. The findings relate to billions worth of rand and a slew of allegations of mismanagement and inflated PPE tenders.
So this was a multidisciplinary team effort that did not just rely on somebody delivering an invoice to you, but it relied on expertise that are able to go very deep into areas where, shall I say, eagles dare. An opportunity for fraudulent behavior arises when the disciplines of internal control have been weakened. In this case, that's what we have observed. That when there were fewer people who are able to monitor and supervise transactions, others who know best take the opportunity.
All right, well, we've heard or even enjoyed a drive-in cinema, but have you ever imagined a float-in cinema? It allows socially distanced screenings in boats, and this new way of watching was inaugurated in London, where the audience could watch a movie from boats floating on the Paddington Basin, an experience seducing cinema lovers who feel safer watching outdoors. Stay with us, the sports news is coming up.
Heaviness and a burning inside, it could be heartburn.
Indigestion and heartburn? Eno gets to work in 6 seconds and works on the 6 symptoms of heartburn so you can keep living life non-stop. Eno, fight heartburn and indigestion fast.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Welcome to Garden of Joy in Machakos by Optivan. This is a gated community that is strategically located only 7 minutes drive from Coma Town and 1.3 kilometers off the tarmac. It comes with a beautiful gate, chain link fence around the property, internal murram roads, a borehole for steady water supply, a jogging track, a meditation park and a children's play area. The title deeds are ready. Get your value-added plot at only 1.295 million shillings cash price. We also have flexible payment options of up to 12 months. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
When you buy a bar of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate, you can help change the story. That's because we will use part of the proceeds to donate milk to less fortunate children across our beautiful country. Let us come together and show the generous spirit that is inside of all of us. Cadbury Dairy Milk. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
From far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
That is just for me. It really feels very comfy.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology.
New Molfix fans, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Mzee Harmonize alienda kujaribu hizi magames za wazungu kwa uwanja TZ in front of thousands of people at ziplining. Alishuka kama bei ya maembe. Tangu anze mziki hajawahi hit hivyo. Huko Tanzania sasa nasikia kwa ground ni Harmonize tu.
They pull people, it doesn't matter their rank and designation. I mean, I've seen even senior people than the position I was holding being pulled away. So I mean,
so you went there knowing that would happen?
No. Actually, I was just actually leaving. That day I was actually leaving.
And
I was seated.
Faster.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a good thing.
Kenyan Premier League champions Gor Mahia have added 2 more players to the fold. Gor Mahia has once again raided Western Stima, from where they've signed defender Kelvin Wesonga on a 4-year deal. Centre-back Kennedy Owino has also joined from Western Stima. Gor has already signed 2 foreign players, Tito Okello from Uganda and Cameroonian defensive midfielder Bertrand Confor. Fans are arguably one of the most important elements of the game. It then goes without saying that their opinions matter. The last decade has seen the rise of fan television, and none has done this better than Arsenal Fan TV, now AFTV. From a little-known channel to a global movement with millions of followers, AFTV moments off the pitch have matched and sometimes even eclipsed Arsenal's performances on it. Ida Waringa spoke to the co-founder, Robbie Lyle.
I mean, you also had a lot going on for you before Arsenal Fan TV, now AFTV. Tell us a bit more about that, you know, the rise to prominence way before this.
Okay, well, back in the day, I used to be really heavily involved in reggae music. So I used to be like a reggae MC. I did I made quite a few tunes over here in the UK. One that I did called Proud to Be Black, which was a tune that went to #1 in the UK reggae charts. And I used to do a lot of touring. Yeah, and then I was back working. Before I started doing AFTV, I was working as a building surveyor. So I sort of went back and studied and got into that.
And maybe I'm just stereotyping here. Forgive me if I am, but, you know, can we trace your love for reggae to a bit of that Caribbean influence in your life?
You're not stereotyping. You certainly can. I mean, my parents were from Jamaica. And, you know, I used to go to Jamaica all the time. When I was a kid, me and my brother, we had a sound system where we played music, you know, so that's been in my blood.
You know, Robbie, the rise of AFTV, has to be said, came on the backdrop of, you know, a lot of criticism, a lot of negativity, and especially to do with Wenger's time at the club. You know, we've seen players such as Hector Bellerin actually criticizing AFTV in the past. Is there anything about that time, Robbie, that you regret?
Not really, because the thing is, right, we can't affect the performances on the pitch. Even Arsene Wenger himself recently came out and said that, you know, we kind of lost our soul a bit when we moved to the Emirates Stadium.
Robbie, speaking of some of the contributors, you know, have huge fan base here in Africa, here in Kenya. Just tell us about how you met some of them. You know, did you meet all of them through AFTV? We're talking Troops, Ty, and so many others.
All of them I've met through AFTV. I mean, obviously I used to go football before. I didn't know any of these guys. And I've met them all through just interviewing them. And, you know, as you interview them over a long period of time, I've become friendly with some of them as well. There's some really funny characters there, some really great characters, fantastic support, especially in places like Kenya. I speak to so many supporters from Kenya online. I meet so many of them at the grounds who've come over from Kenya. There's a lot of Kenyans in London and around the UK as well that love Arsenal. You know, and I know you guys are passionate.
Definitely.
You know, although the Victor Wanyama, he let me down by going to Tottenham. I don't know what he was dealing with, but everybody else is all right. I actually wanted Wanyama at Arsenal because I was like, you know what, I think he'd be good because we needed a defensive midfielder. So I was really disappointed when he ended up going to Tottenham. But he did have a good career, and he has gone on to I think he's in the MLS now, isn't he? So
right.
He's had a good career.
What about the likes of Aubameyang, the likes of Nicolas Pepe? Your thoughts on them?
Well, again, Aubameyang, one of the best players in Africa. And again, an exceptional player. Pepe, I think we're going to see the best of him next season. I've met a lot of footballers. He's one of the nicest footballers I've met. You know what I mean? He's such a down-to-earth. I mean, you see pictures of him. He's very flashy. He's got a lot of big cars and stuff like that. But when you meet him, no matter who you are, he's so humble. He's such a nice guy. And I'm really proud that he's a captain of Arsenal.
Fair enough. And, you know, moving it back to this last season, it was a bit of a paradox, as we mentioned. What would you like to see moving forward? I mean, you have one of the, I think, most popular coaches I've seen at the Emirates in a while, Mikel Arteta.
I think, you know, when he first got the job, I was like, I don't know, I think we need somebody a bit more experienced. But I have to say, he's been a breath of fresh air. He's come in, he's done a fantastic job. I think he had a fantastic season. Remember, he even caught the coronavirus, recovered from the coronavirus and went on to win a trophy.
Right. And, you know, the likes of Willian to Arsenal, you're talking about availing more resources, more tools to the head coach. But there is that general sentiment, you know, Robbie, that Arsenal can be a bit frugal. What do you think about Willian to Arsenal, and who else would you like to see make their way over to the Emirates?
Very frugal, you know what I mean? And that's been another problem, you know, because as I said, when you're paying the highest ticket prices, and you just see these little free transfers and aging players and stuff like that. We want to see some young, exciting signings, you know what I mean? So
you've got Pepe, no?
Yes, Pepe was a great signing, but I do understand the situation at the moment with the, you know, the clubs have lost a lot of money because of the COVID thing, but this is a big club, and I really do want to see, you know, the manager backed up with the right signings.
All right, Ida Waringa there. And for more of Robbie's thoughts on Arsenal's performances and Granite's theatrics, be sure to check out the longer version of that interview on the NTV Kenya YouTube page. Elsewhere, Brazil's Football Federation announced on Wednesday it will pay men and women the same amount for representing the national team, one of the few countries to make such a pledge. It means Brazil's little-known female players such as Marta Formiga and Leticia Santos will receive the same fees and allowances as global superstars such as Neymar, Gabriel Jesus and Roberto Firmino. Australia and Norway and also a few other countries, rather, as New Zealand, are amongst the nations to previously decide to pay their men and women internationals the same amount. In March 2019, the US women's team, the current world champions, sued their federation, alleging discrimination over pay and conditions. The highest paid players in the women's game earn six-figure salaries, while male players such as Barcelona's Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo of Juventus take home sums more than 100 times greater. All right, well, if you are an avid reader of our website, that is nation.co.ke, you will no doubt have noticed a big change by now. This is what our new website looks like. This is our new digital brand, www.nation.africa. Bold, beautiful colors, new text as well, and lots of new information, all at the click of a button. If I just move over here, you can access different information, not only about local news, but you have the tab Africa, World, Gender, Health, Tech, and Newsplex, and plenty more. So tomorrow it is a big day for the Nation Media Group, because we will be launching this new digital brand. Thanks to everybody that put a lot of work into this to ensure that this company moves with the changing times and also adapts. It is www.nation.africa, and we are inviting you, our viewers and our readers, to join in that live virtual event of our digital transformation journey. Essentially, that is what it is. Please do log on to all social media sites related to NMG, and you will be able to be part of the launch of www.nation.africa. All right, well, that brings us to the end of this broadcast. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Our sign language interpreter has been Flora Atieno. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi. Have yourselves a good night and keep safe.
This is NTV.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Guys, unajua ukikula supa moja utakuwa na superpowers?
Let me try.
Jiamini.
Wow. Indomie, now available in chicken, beef, and Supermojo. Jiamini.
Maze Harmonize alienda kujaribu hizi magames za wazungu kwa uwanja TZ in front of thousands of people at ziplining. Alishuka kama bei ya maembe. Tangu anze mziki hajawahi hit hivyo. Huko Tanzania sasa inasikia kwa ground ni Harmonize tu.
They pull people, it doesn't matter their rank and designation. I mean, I've seen even senior people than the position I was holding being pulled away. So I mean,
so you went there knowing that would happen?
No. Actually, I was just actually leaving. That day I was actually leaving.
And
I was seated. Yeah, exactly. Which is a good thing.
NTV hits the road.
Watu wa NTV namkaribisha hapa Tharaka Nithi County Headquarters.
And like time and time again, it will be worth your watch.
Kaunti yetu iko na vitu mingi mzuri.
And when they get down to business,
tunajengewa soko mzuri ya ghorofa 3.
Infrastructure development.
Naweza nikashukuru kwa hii barabara.
Healthcare transformation. Breathtaking tourist attractions.
Kuna mti mrefu East Africa hii kuliko hii. Kwa kimombo inaitwa Kenyensis. Kimeru watu wote wanajua inaitwa mtunguru.
Set your watch, make a date with us as we explore county number 13, the county of Tharaka Nithi.
What is she doing here?
She's coming with us.
If she's going, I won't.
We won't gain anything with the two of us fighting.
He's already here for me.
Why are you going out with Carito? I saw you with her in town.
Saw us where? Ramon told me you were going with a boss.
Don't try to change the subject. Do you think it's right for you to go out with that woman?
I just ended a very complicated relationship. That poor excuse of a man has been making my life a living, breathing nightmare.
That's what I'm saying, Lashana. I don't want to see my nanny sad anymore.
I think the time has come to give myself another chance to be happy.
Along Came Love, in association with Blue Band Peanut Butter.
This week on The Trend, all this and many more only on The Trend right here on NTV.